building on this idea that you can have two groups of sages looking at the same Bible verses in the same world and have completely opposing viewpoints of the actual nature of the earth. For example, 7 continents versus 7 layers. How do you interpret the 7, right? So based on that and expanding on that, we could see how many different scenarios would lead to different viewpoints. For example, the state of Israel and the wars they've won, certain people in Israel will celebrate and make a blessing on and recite the Hallel, which is reserved for special moments of praise, special holidays when God saved us and rescued us. They will say that maybe on Israeli Independence Day. And there's other school of thought that says absolutely not. We will not say Hallel and we will not make a blessing. And then there's the middle view, we will say it without the blessing, you know. How can you have that? Well, you could just, attempt to say, well, that camp is wrong and that camp is right. Or you could understand that, they're spiritually inclined from chesed, loving kindness, and they're spiritually inclined from gvura, restraint. And the same data can present itself and be met with two different understandings of it based on the spiritual inclinations of the two camps. I want to take it further and try to understand in the same way conflict. For example, you have Russia-Ukraine. For example, you have Israel-Palestine. How do you understand that? Is it also spiritual inclination? Is it? I don't know. I'm asking you a question and I want to know what you think. Definitely, there's Russia, if it's a nation, has its own ministering angel, and Ukraine, if it's a nation, has its own ministering angel. That can be a debate. Are they one nation or two? And if they're one nation, like a civil war, who's fighting in heaven, With Israel-Palestine, I think it's more pretty clear-cut or accepted that we're two different nations, although that's also debated, So we could say also we're two spiritually inclined in different ways, and that's that's the root of the conflict. You could say maybe we're coming from two different spiritual roots, two different spiritual inclinations. Doesn't mean it's going to have to be a conflict forever, but that could maybe be a way to start to understand the root of the conflict, of any conflict. Spiritual natures that oppose each other, one coming from one side, one coming from another.